for the 70th anniversary of their victory of the Fatherland Liberation War. And I may ask you, Tegan, to place in chat book the message of greetings that we have received from Dermot Hudson, Chairperson of UK KFA, Korean Friendships Association, and also Chairperson of the UK Study of the Juice Idea. I also would like to extend congratulations to all those comrades who have been able to make the journey, difficult as it may have been, and the financial expenses, to join this meeting in Jakarta tonight. Congratulations. As much as I would like to be able to be there and join you, my medical conditions prohibited that. But my medical condition won't prohibit us from holding this very successful and significant event in solidarity with the Korean people. I now ask and invite the DPRK Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency An Kwan Il, to take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. His Excellency Mohamed Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of the Nepal, co-chairperson of the APRC-PRK. Mr. Javed Ansari, Joint Secretary of the APRC-PRK. Mr. Peter Wilson, Secretary of the New Zealand DPRK Society. Mr. Stego Santosa, Chairman of the Indonesia-Korea Friendship and Cultural Exchange. Dear distinguished guests, comrades and friends, it is my great pleasure to be here with you attending the international joint ceremony to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the glorious victory in the great liberation war of the fatherland. I sincerely appreciate your coming to Jakarta and also express my deep thanks to our friends who are attending online. Today is a very significant day for the Korean people, and we celebrate with enthusiasm the 70th anniversary of the glorious victory in the great liberation war of the fatherland. The liberation war of the fatherland was recorded the ultimate in the world history in imbalance, in asymmetry of the territory, population, economic power, and all aspects between the belligerent parties. The US imperialists introduced to the Korean War tremendous armed forces, armed with modern weapons and up-to-date military technique from the US and its satellite countries, and applied the most inhuman and brutal methodology during the war period of the war in order to occupy our territory at a strike and expand its spheres of domination. The US ambition to nip up our republic in bud and realize its world supremacy was completely broken off, thanks to the resolute spirit and matchless courage of our people and army, who were rock solid under the leadership of the President Kim Il-sung. President Kim Il-sung wisely led the Korean People's Army and the Korean peoples and achieved a great victory that will be noted in the history of the world warfare. He defended the dignity, honor, and sovereignty of the DPRK, as well as the environment for the independent development of the nation. When the US imperialists ignited the fuse of the war by urging the South Korean puppets, he convened an emergency cabinet meeting and laughed broadly, saying that Americans misunderstood the Koreans. The soldiers of the Korean People's Army, who advanced along the area of the counterattack drone with unparalleled courage, destroyed Seoul, the stronghold of the enemy, within 3 days after the outbreak of the war, and create a shining example of the modern siege warfare in the battle for the liberation of the desert. In order to rescue the family of the single warrior in enemy territory, President sent combat force of one regiment to carry out a rescue operation. As the Supreme Commander, he ordered to set up a resting place at the front line for the soldiers of the People's Army. It instilled confidence in victory in the hearts of the warriors. Farmers all over the country ignite the flames of the campaign to donate food grains to frontline by cultivating well in accordance with the will of the great leader. And the entire working class increased industrial production during the wartime. The victory was achieved. The history of war victory created in the 1950s by the heroic DPRK under the wise leadership of the President Kim Il-sung is shining more brilliantly along with the new era of the Juche Revolution, thanks to the respected Communist Secretary General Kim Jong-un. He has always worked heart and soul to glorify forever the President's leadership exploits for the war victory. The General Secretary made public lots of works to provide ideal theoretical wealth for ensuring the eternal prosperity of the country with victory. He took measures for the eternal preservation of the revolutionary site and mementos associated with the President's history of the leadership for war victory. He made it a tradition to significantly celebrate July 27, the War Victory Day, as the holiday of the victors by inviting delegates of the war veterans to Pyongyang every year. Thanks to Comrade Kim Jong-un, our people are confident that the victorious history of the heroic Korea will last forever for the next 700 or 7,000 years and advancing vigorously towards the future of prosperous socialist country. To conclude, I am grateful from my heart that APRCPRK is actively supporting the just cause of Korean people and confident that it will promote friendship and solidarity activities more actively in accordance with its mission. Thank you very much for your attention.
Dear Ambassador, thank you very much for those been very encouraging words. And it gives us confidence that we will continue to provide solidarity support for the Korean people. It is now my pleasure, comrades and friends, to ask His Excellency, Madam Guma Nepal, to take the floor as the keynote speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond. Dear Mr. Raymond Ferguson, esteemed co-chairpersons and executive bureau members of the Asia Pacific Regional Committee for the peaceful reunification of Korea. Dear Peter Wilson, Tego Santosa, and Elizabeth Akhtar, and other friends present here, all those members of the Asia Pacific Regional Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea, dear friends and comrades of the Korean people in the region and around the world who kindly joined this event. esteemed His Excellency An Kwang Il, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the DPRK to the Republic of Indonesia, comrades and friends. First of all, please allow me, on behalf of the Asia Pacific Regional Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea, APR-CPRK, and the Asia Pacific Regional Preparatory Committee for the celebration of the 17th anniversary of victory of the Korean people in the Great Fatherland Liberation War and the 75th founding anniversary of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, APRPC, to pay the highest tribute to the great comrade Kim Il sung, who firmly defended the dignity and sovereignty of the Korean nation and safeguarded peace of mankind by filing the attempt of the US imperialism to invade the Asia and checking its strategy for world hegemony. And with his world startling and original military mindedness, outstanding strategy and tactics, and extraordinary art of command. At the same time, my sincerest and warmest greetings and congratulations from all the progressives from the region go to the Korean people celebrating the 70th anniversary of victory in their fatherland liberation war. I am one of the few persons in the world who had the greatest fortune to personally meet and candid talk and discussion with the great leader Comrade Kim Il sung in his lifetime. On this meaningful occasion to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Korean people's victory in their great fatherland liberation war, I cannot hold back myself from looking back on my day when I met Comrade Kim Il sung, that is now more than 30 years ago. It was in 1993 October. My vivid memory of meeting him reminds me of the words that said to be told by President Sukarno, founding father of Indonesia, to President Kim Il sung when he met him in April 1965. President Sukarno said that it is indeed a great pity that size of Korea is too small as compared with prestige and dignity of President Kim Il sung, but he has the whole world as he moves it at his own will. With this in mind, I would like to underscore that the full credit goes to Comrade Kim Il sung, a brilliant commander of the century who was respected even by the headsmen of the hostile states that Korea, only 2 years after its foundation in 1950s, could defend its dignity, honor, and sovereignty in the 3-year-long war against the US imperialism, the bulwark of aggression and war, and its 15 satellite countries, as well as safeguarding the environment for the independent development of the state. The victory won by the Korean people in the war was victory of the defender over the aggressor and victory of justice and the progressive over injustice and the reactionary. This is indeed victory of significance in human history, which paved the iron truth that army and people that have turned out in a do or die resistance firmly rallied behind the great leader cannot be owned by any strong and superior aggressors. Korean people, under the leadership of Comrade Kim Jong il, one another brilliant commander with matchless courage and great and incalculable stratagem scored the brilliant victories its showdown continued century after century with world imperialism and adorned the proud history of heroic Korea. Today, the ever victorious history of Korea is being firmly carried forward by Comrade Kim Jong un, and Korea is fully demonstrating its dignity and grandeur as the independent and powerful state to the rest of the world. Availing myself of this opportunity, I would like to praise whom my demand for immediate suspension of all the reckless acts of the US and its allies that gravely threaten the peace and security of the region and those of the world as they continuously conduct extremely dangerous war games in and around the Korean Peninsula on the largest ever scale by hijacking the sacred name of the United Nations and its flag rather than converting the armistice agreement into durable peace mechanism. Last but not least, extending my warmest congratulations once again to the Korean people on the 70th anniversary of victory in the great Fatherland Liberation War and expressing my heartfelt thanks to all the comrades present in this event, both physically and virtually, as a token of solidarity to our fraternal Korean people. I would like to propose to present a courteous letter of congratulation on behalf of the Asia Pacific Regional Committee for the peaceful reunification of Korea on this meaningful day to commemorate Kim Jong un glorifying the tradition of victory and faithfully defending peace of the region and that of the world by leading the heroic Korean people. Thank you. But in the meantime, I would like to mention one thing. The year 1953, when the Korean War of Resistance was launched, as and has created a new history. That a small nation can defeat very powerful country if there is a strong and determined and capable leadership. I mention the year 1953 because that is the year I was born. I mention 1953 because that was the year that mankind was able to climb the highest peak of the world, Mount Everest, in the same year. So, 1953 will remain all the time memorable for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mother. You are still very young if you was only born in 1953. But thank you very much for those some very encouraging and solidarity words in support of our cause, but particularly in support of the Korean people. It's now my pleasure to call upon Javad Zanzari, a Joint Secretary of the Asian Pacific Regional Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea, Secretariat, to read out a letter addressed to Kim Jong-un and the Korean people, congratulating them on their 70th anniversary of the victory of the Fatherland Liberation War. Comrade Javad.
Susan, His Excellency Mr. Madhu Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal and co-chairman of Asia Pacific Regional Committee for Peaceful Reunification of Korea, Excellency Mr. An Kwang Il, Ambassador, Democratic People's Republic of Korea in Indonesia, Mr. Tego Santosa, the host, and very energetically he has conducted, organized this function. I, on behalf of you, uh, congratulate him for successful meeting. And it is a matter of great honor and privilege for me that today you participants has given assignment to read out the letter to His Excellency Comrade Kim. Now I am reading the letter His Excellency Marshal Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, President, State Affairs of the DPRK, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the DPRK, Pyongyang. Respected Your Excellency, we, the participants in the meaningful joint celebration gathering, which has been held in Jakarta, Indonesia, to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the victory of the Korean people in the Great Fatherland Liberation War as a great and grand holiday common to the world progressive people. Would like to extend our warmest congratulations to Your Excellency and all the Korean people on this meaningful day. July 27, 1953 is recorded as the day of the second Liberation Day in the glorious history of the DPRK, since it was the day when the Korean people repulsed the armed invasion of the US, who boasted of being the strongest in the world, and won a brilliant victory under the outstanding leadership of President Kim Il-sung. The heroic feats of the Korean people, who defended the dignity, honor, and sovereignty of their state, and furthermore checked the potential outbreak of another world war, thus safeguarding the peace of humankind, give great strength and inspiration to the progressive mankind even today, 70th years later, as well as in the last century, by serving as a great example in the struggle against the aggression and the war of the imperialists and for independence, justice, and peace. Such a historic victory that the 2 years old DPRK and the Korean People's Army won against the ferocious imperialist allied forces verifies convincingly the truth that the army and people who are led by a great leader and believe in their own power can beat back a strong enemy and work a miracle. Availing ourselves of this opportunity, we would like to pay our highest tribute to President Kim Il-sung, who defeated two imperialists within one and single generation by dint of his iron will and conviction in unrivaled wisdom, strategy, and tactics, and outstanding leadership ability, and the leader Kim Jong Il, who pursued original Songun politics, thereby firmly defending socialist Korea and making immortal contribution to accomplishment of global cause of independence. Today, under the wise leadership of the respected Your Excellency Marshal Kim Jong-un, the Korean people are more credibly keeping up the victorious traditions while making world-startling and miraculous achievements in face of the worsened threats and challenges of the hostile forces. We are more than happy to see that Your Excellency carries forward the ideology and cause of precedent leaders to raise the national prestige and strength of the DPRK onto the highest level and resolutely safeguard the peace and security of the Korean Peninsula and those of the region and the world. We will continue to express our firm support for and solidarity with the Korean people in their just cause to push ahead with the building of a thriving socialist state under the banner of anti-imperialism and independence, single-heartedly united around respected Your Excellency Marshal Kim Jong-un. We sincerely wish Your Excellency good in health and a greater success in the noble work to further build up the DPRK as an invincible state and safeguard the peace and security of the world. With best regards, Asia Pacific Regional Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea, July 27, 112, 2023, Jakarta. Thank you very much. To support and resolutely and unanimously approve this letter to all of you.
Seconder for the letter. It's been seconded. No objections. Well, let the record show that the letter presented by Comrade Javid to His Excellency Kim Jong-un and the Korean people has been adopted unanimously by this event here tonight. Thank you very much. Now, comrades and friends, it's my pleasure to advise you that part of
This
the
letter.
proceedings tonight will show a short video about the Korean War and the atrocities committed by the US and Allied military forces. Comrade Tiga, will you please show the video?
우리 곁에는 조국해방전쟁 참전자로 감납히 불리우는 세대가 있다. 구세대의 살아있는 덕실은가 전승절을 맞는 노병들의 마음은 뜨겁다. 그들은 무엇을 위하여 싸웠는가? 무엇을 지켜 싸웠는가?
해방 후 짧은 황금의 시절, 그난 직접 그 배를 받은 사람인데 48년도에 공화국 선포된 다음에 공화국 창건의 노래도 우리가 많이 불렀고, 응? 난 그때 전문에 다니면서 그 공화국 깃발 근데도 청진시대에서 시위하고 이거 공화국 깃발을 옛날에 아주 감이 깊었단 말이야. 응? 그러니까 나는 입대할 때 그 공화국 깃발을 나도 내 임명대 입대하면서 이 공화국 깃발과 함께 내가 부사봉을 해야 되겠다. 이런 내가 다른 걸 못 가져가도 공화국 깃발은 적어서 입대 때 가져갔단 말이야.
전쟁이 일어나서 임명대 들어왔는데 공화국 깃발 하니까 이것이 우리 조국이라는 거. 이것이 우리 조국을 상징하고 있다는 거. 상징하고 있다는 거. 어머니가 나한테 이렇게 되었습니다. 인천에서 서울까지 이렇게 걸어와서 왔다 얘기하니까 야 그래 임명대 나가겠어. 예 좋아 하더니 그러면 우영군 훈련 하는 사람 깃발, 그 깃발이 있음으로 해서 우리가 전장에서 쓰러지면 그 깃발을 다시 죽여 태우고 또 자기가 시간되면 전우들이 이어서 적들의 고지에 꽂고 만세를 부르고 나갔다.
그들이 지켜낸 공화국 깃발은 단순한 기폭이 아니었다. 그곳은 김 장군이 주신 땅이었고 사랑하는 부모 처자였으며 대대손손 누려갈 행복이었다. 그곳은 위대한 조국에 바친 장한 아들 딸들이 도운 심장이었고 뜨거운 그 심장들이 안아올린 영웅조선의 빛나는 승리였다. 위대한 전승세대는 국기를 위해 한 생을 바쳤다. 오늘도 그들은 숭고한 사상과 정신으로 우리를 인도하고 있다. 조나의 나날 그들이 발휘한 용적 희생 정신은 새 세대들이 녹수로 신념으로 굳건히 이어지고 있다. 전승세대가 피로 지킨 우리의 남홍색 공화국 깃발. 오늘은 그 깃발이 영웅세대의 후손들의 손에 쥐어졌다. 할아버지 세대가 목숨 바쳐 지킨 저 국기를 영원히 높이 휘날려갈 사명이 이어지고 있다. 국기를 우러르는 노병의 숭엄한 눈빛은 우리에게 당부하고 있다. 그 깃발을 소중히 간직하고 목숨 바쳐 끝까지 지키라. 이 나라를 더 강대하게 끝없이 번영하게 하라.
Dear Comrade Len, thank you very much for those encouraging words. And I'm sure they will give inspiration to the Korean people as they go on defending their independence, their sovereignty, and their socialist way of life. And may I also say, Comrade Len, it gives us inspiration of the Asian Pacific Regional Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea.
From the Philippines, Korea, Solidarity. We join the Korean people and their supporters all over the world in the celebration of the 70th anniversary of the victory in the Great Fatherland Liberation War. We acknowledge July 27 as the second day of liberation when the Korean people defended their country's dignity and sovereignty from U.S. imperialist aggression. The great struggle of the Korean people with courage, strong will, and determination, with one mind and under the correct leadership of the party and government, has withstood the difficult tasks, trials, and challenges of war and won a historic victory, inflicting a tremendous defeat on U.S. imperialism. It is an inspiration not only for the Korean people, but for all anti-imperialist forces in the world over. The anniversary is even more significant. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea will celebrate the 75th anniversary of its foundation. The Philippines Korea Solidarity and Friendship Society, PKSFS, its leaders and members are one in the Korean people, with the Korean people and their leaders in their struggle for an independent and peaceful reunification of Korea. Long live the heroic people of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Korea is one. Long live the 70th anniversary of the victory in the Great Fatherland Liberation War. Long live international solidarity. Thank you very much.
The organizing committee of the to express my firm expectation and confidence that our joint activities and efforts in support of just cause of the Korean people will grow stronger in the coming years. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Damien, for those very encouraging and sincere words. Comrades and friends, it's now my great pleasure to call upon Mr. Peter Wilson, who is Secretary of the New Zealand Society, DPRK Society. And he is going to present a letter to this gathering tonight, addressed to the Secretary General of the United Nations, demanding that the UN command be disbanded. Ever since the end of cessation hostilities in the Korean Peninsula with the signing of the arms agreement, the United States military forces have continued to use the UN flag as their UN command, which was never endorsed in the first place. I'll now call upon Mr. Peter Wilson to read a letter which will fully explain to all the falsity of this command and the way the United States military forces are degenerating it. Mr. Peter Wilson, will you take the floor, please?
Thank you very much, Ray. I've just been told that our friend from Turkey is available, so maybe I will just step back and we can ask Dr. Dogu to speak to us.
And I will call upon you later. Is the doctor available?
Hello, can you hear me? Mr. Ferguson, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Due to urgent matter, Mr. Doğu Perinçek couldn't attend this meeting. He sent his apologies. On behalf of Mr. Perinçek, we will read his message.
Please do.
Dear friends, dear comrades, the victory of the Korean people under the leadership of the Korean Workers' Party is the victory of all the people of the world and humanity. On behalf of the Vatan Patriotic Party and the Turkish nation, we salute the heroism of the eternal president of the Korean nation, Kim Il-sung, the Workers' Party of Korea, and the Korean people from the Western Age of Asia, from Turkey. Today, just like in the 1950s, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is resisting against US imperialism with knowledge and courage under the guidance of their supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. The USA is no longer the USA of the 1950s. Here, there, and everywhere, it has encountered with the struggle of world progressive people and states, and it is regressing right now. The dollar reign is collapsing. We have reached the end of the Atlantic era. A new civilization is rising from Asia. In the Asian area, we have entered the reunification of Korea against imperialism has a historic importance. We wish the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the Workers' Party of Korea, and the Korean nation brilliant victories in the construction of an independent, people-centered, state-oriented, and sharing Asian civilization with heart feelings of comradeship and respect. Mr. Doğu Perinçek, Chairman of Vatan Party. Thank you very much.
Dear comrade, thank you also for your solidarity words. And please, on behalf of our gathering tonight, please extend to Doctor our sincere appreciation, and we wish him good health. And I'm sure the words will be very appreciated by the Korean people's solidarity support. Thank you. Mr. Peter Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In June 1950, the United States conned the Security Council of the United Nations to recommend to members of the UN to support the United States in a war which was aimed at crushing out of existence the DPRK. As we know, the Korean People's Army, supported by their comrades from China, resisted that attempt. And on this day, 70 years ago, the amnesty was signed. The Security Council had given authority to the United States to use the UN flag for what they referred to as a unified command. 70 years later, the United States military is still using the United Nations flag as a cloak of respectability over its actions, its military bases, and its war games in the Republic of Korea. The letter that we are presenting, we are going to send to the Secretary General of the United Nations from the Asia Pacific Regional Committee for Peaceful Reunification of Korea, is requesting, I shall read the first sentence because that summarizes it and tells you all you need to know. We, the undersigned, request that the United Nations revoke permission for use of the United Nations flag by the United States of America as leader of the Unified Command in Korea. Each of you attending this meeting today will be sent a copy of this letter. It is an open letter, and I would ask you to circulate it as widely as you can. We will also send this letter to the Group of 77 Secretariat and ask for support from the G77. I would propose that we adopt this letter, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
You've heard the proposition. Is there a seconder? Have a seconder? Any opposition to the letter being presented to the Secretary General of the United Nations as outlined? No opposition, then I let the minutes record that the letter as outlined by Mr. Peter Wilson was unanimously adopted by this event tonight. Thank you and congratulations. Comrades and friends, that concludes the official business of this event tonight in recognition of the 70th anniversary of the Korean people's victory of the fatherland liberation. I think it has been very successful. All the corners of the globe here tonight have been represented. Some have made the travel to Indonesia, Jakarta on their own expenses and time. But I think we send a clear message against the imperialist forces, a clear message that the world progressive and peace-loving forces of this world are clearly in support and will continue their solidarity support for the Korean people until such time that their independence and sovereignty is guaranteed, that they alone be given the choice of developing the principles of reunification. With those few words, I'd ask now our good friend Tiga Sentosa, Chairperson of Indonesia-Korea Friendship Association, to formally close the meeting. Comrade Tiga.
Thank you, Chairman Ray Ferguson. Thank you for the opportunity. And first of all, I would like again to welcome all of our comrades from many countries in Jakarta. And actually, we wishing all of you, our comrades who are now join us in Zoom, also be in Jakarta. But of course, there are other issues in your own respective countries, and we cannot all together sitting on the same table today in Jakarta. But we have same spirit. We are the true supporter of peaceful reunification of Korea, and we do not know stop point for this. We have to continue our journey to reach this goal. Ray, actually, I do not want to add anything to what you've said just now. I think you already have a very good closing statement. But I'm using this opportunity again to thank all of you here in Jakarta. I would like special thanks to Honorary Madhav Kumar of Nepal, and also Ambassador Ang Kwang Il, and all of you guys in Jakarta and also in Zoom. And I believe that in the very short time we can meet again in Pyongyang, because we've seen that there is a new development. We see that today in Pyongyang there are delegation of Russia and China. They are all together with our comrade DPRK celebrate this the end of the Korean War, like what we are doing today. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Tiga. And best wishes to Ambassador Ang Kwang Il, and also to His Excellency Comrade Kumar. Thank you very much for your attendance, and I think we have made a mark, a clear mark of support for the Korean people. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Actually, the Zoom meeting already finished. And now, on behalf of Indonesia, DPRK Friendship Association, I would like to present a token of appreciation for all of you who are joined with us in Jakarta. I would like to invite Honorary Madhav Kumar, Nepal. We would like to, yeah.
Recording stopped.
내 꿈은 빨리 커서 우리나라를 온 세상에 노래 불러 자랑하는 가수가 되는 것입니다. 온스님의 사진은 언제 봐도 기뻐요. 우리들이 어느 때나 보고 싶은 원수님.
This is the Gyeongsan Kindergarten, a comprehensive base for early musical education. Teachers of the kindergarten found out the talent of Jeon Da-hyun in the bard, who has uncommon musical receptivity. Here in the kindergarten, she fostered a dream to be a good singer. After leaving the kindergarten, she was admitted to the Pyongyang Kim Won-gun University of Music and Dance. She took part in national performances and concerts. Jeon Da-hyun sang a song at a national performance given in the presence of the respected fatherly Marshal Kim Jong-un. She was very happy to see Marshal Kim Jong-un hearing her song with a bright smile on his face. She wrote down in her diary to remember the moments of the day forever.
나는 언제나 경례하는 아버지 김정은 스님을 모시고 공연하였던 영광의 그날을 잊지 못한다. 내가 항상 꿈속에서 바라고 바라던 소원이 풀린 날이었다.
돈 한 푼 받지 않고 재능을 찾아 꼽혀주고 국가 무대까지 내세워준 내 나라가 얼마나 고맙습니까? 저는 조금도 의심치 않습니다. 세계적인 가수가 되려는 우리 다현이의 꿈이 꼭 이루어지리라는 것을 믿습니다.
Jun Da-hyun is developing her artistic talent to the full. She studies hard to become a top honor student and grows into a future musician to surprise the world.
난 꿈을 사랑해. 꿈은 이루기 힘들다고 어른들은 말했지만 내가 꾸는 꿈은 꼭꼭 이루어진단다. 난 정말 꿈에